Leaders arrived in Brussels today for 2 days of talks on migration that German Chancellor Angela Merkel described as make or break for the Union. The bloc is turning increasingly restrictive on immigration, with surveys showing it is the top concern for EU citizens.
Now, the EU remains deeply divided over how to handle asylum seekers. Countries like Poland and Hungary are refusing to accept a share of the new arrivals to alleviate the burden on Italy and Greece, who are struggling to cope.
A deal among all 28 EU states is unrealistic, so German Chancellor Angela Merkel is pushing for a coalition of the willing on migration. She hopes that will appease the Christian Social Union, which has hardened its line before an autumn election in its home region of Bavaria, the main German entry point for migrants.
The talks will be about external protection, and from my side, we can talk about landing ships of migrants in other countries, for example in North Africa. But we need to talk with these countries. We can't do this over their heads.
Convincing Italy to do a deal may be the biggest challenge. Its new Eurosceptic government, which includes the anti-establishment Five-Star Movement and far-right League, has rejected any moves that would make it handle more migrants.
Many are talking about crisis. We're talking about numbers that at the moment are more or less 80% less than it was last year. So we're talking about numbers that are perfectly manageable. We shouldn't get into a panic state of mind. Our policies in the last year or so have started to produce results. Now they need to be sustained, and it is extremely important that we do this in cooperation and partnership with our friends in countries of origin and transit, in particular in Africa. We're investing a lot in Africa. Now member states need to do the same.
At stake at the two-day talks is EU members' unity and trust in each other, as well as the Schengen zone.
This is the right time to launch a new period when we try to reconstruct the European democracy. And I hope now we will make a move to the direction of reconstruction of European democracy, and finally we will do what the people really request. And I think the people request two things. First is no migrants more in, so stop them. And the second is those who are in should bring back. So that's what the people will. So I think in order to restore the European democracy, we have to move to that direction. I hope that will happen today.
The leaders are determined to persuade their voters they are in control, and there would not be a repeat of 2015, when more than 1 million people reached the EU across the sea.